Many are asking if there will be consequences for what's being called now Deflate-gate. The NFL reported yesterday that New England Patriots staffers violated rules by deflating footballs before a playoff game. Star quarterback Tom Brady was at least aware, but will the league punish him? And this isn't the first time that the team has been caught cheating. Fans, players, and team owners are waiting to see the league's next move. And here to talk about that, we have sports journalist Didier Morais. Hey, Didier, it's good to see you. You know what? So this report couldn't have been more vague, in my humble opinion. You know, they said that there's more probable than not chance that the Patriots personnel participated in violations, and that it was more probable than not that Tom Brady was generally aware of what was going on. So with such vague language, what could be done anyway as a result of this report?
Well, I believe it was vague just because they never got Tom Brady's official side of the story. I'm saying he did answer questions, but he never actually relinquished access to his text messages. I think that's a very big key. However, that said, it seems more than likely, as indicated, that Tom Brady will be punished. And it makes sense because, I mean, we're talking about the poster boy of the NFL, four-time champion, great reputation. But he needs to be punished in a sense because it sets a bad example for the next generation. We talked to the youth about, not cheating and playing fair. So to let him off the hook, I expect at least, 2 to 3 game suspension.
Ooh, that's a severe punishment. You really think so?
I think so because we saw how the Cleveland Browns, Ray Farmer, the GM, he was suspended for the first 2 games of this season because he was texting to the sidelines. That's somewhat of an unfair advantage. So I feel that you need to stay consistent with that punishment. And even Roger Goodell said when he suspended the New Orleans Saints players for Bountygate, he said that ignorance is not an excuse. So we're taking Roger Goodell's words, and that commissioner, he needs to stay consistent. And in that case, hey, ignorance is an excuse. You need to get suspended a few games.
So you think Tom Brady will be hung out to dry by himself, or will the team face some sort of penalty?
I feel that the team will face penalty. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose a draft pick or even a couple. And as we talked about, this isn't the first time that the Patriots have, we saw Spygate in 2007. So I think the fact that this is a second offense, even though Bill Belichick wasn't identified as a perpetrator this time around, I still think the organization will be punished because of their star players' actions.
How much do you think, Didier, that this is going to affect Tom Brady's legacy? Don't know how much longer he's going to play football, but he's probably got more years behind him than he does in front of him. And how will it affect the legacy of the team, of the Patriots?
I think it'll tarnish Tom Brady's legacy a little bit because up till now, he was that guy. He was the one you wanted to emulate. He was a 4-time winner, pretty face, beautiful wife, everything. But now, this tarnishes his reputation because, again, he was looked at as an idol. When this is your poster boy right here, you have to go a little harder in a sense because we talk about playing, being fair and having a good advantage, and we need to set the precedent for the future, for the next generation, the kids who look up to Tom Brady. And regarding the Patriots, I wouldn't be surprised if they get docked a good amount and, again, lose a few draft picks. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 4th, 5th round, nothing major. But, again, the message needs to be sent across because we know that Roger Goodell has a good relationship with Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots. Mm-hmm. So it'll be very interesting to see what the punishment comes out. But he has to make a move.
Yeah, quite a little fine line to dance on there. So let's talk about, I want to ask you about the ball policy and what might happen there. But before, just give us a general idea of how the balls, according to the rules, are supposed to be handled before a game.
Absolutely. Well, each team, they bring 12 balls where they obviously get inspected from the referees about 3 hours before the game. At that point, ball boys, equipment managers usually take the balls and have them ready for game time. I expect to see a little bit of a policy change in the upcoming season. We already saw in the Super Bowl that there was extra security around the game balls just based on all the aftermath of what happened in the AFC Championship game. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a designated security guard for the balls or even have a neutral person as opposed to...
That's what I was going to ask you. Perhaps there'll be a neutral person that's in charge of minding the balls, if you will, until the actual game time. You really expect to see that change? Or Yeah.
Absolutely. I definitely believe we'll see that change because we saw how Tom Brady really developed the rapport with some of these equipment guys and the staffers and really, look to them. We saw the text messages. These were some pretty strong text messages with some pretty strong evidence. So, again, we don't want to have any players manipulating their staffers. Staffers are always going to look for the best of their team and their employers, so we need a neutral guy.
Let me ask this very quickly before I let you go. Do you think Tom is the only one that is this persnickety about the balls? I mean, it's my understanding that most quarterbacks are very specific about how they like their ball. Is he the only one that prefers a squishy ball? And I'm going to try to say that with a straight face. You try to answer it with a straight face.
He's been the only one who's been caught so far.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
All right, Didier Morais, thank you so much.
No problem.